What's up, guys? This video is coming out a little bit late. Sorry, we had a lot going on in the last week and a half or so. Had our baby early, my brother got married, and things just didn't play out. Didn't have the time to get this put together. So this is the video of me fishing the Big Bass Bash. I know that's a little bit far out now, so let me talk about the lake a little bit right now. Now, I've not been able to fish for a minute, and that's probably going to continue for at least maybe the next month or so till we kind of get things straightened out and I'll be able to get back on the water. But since then, the water has gone up a lot. It's gone up like over 2 feet, and Truman has also gone up a lot. So what that means is you end up with the best case scenario, except we're a little early for that, and that is the max generation. They've actually had the floodgates open on Ozarks as well. So you're getting like 50,000 CFS through the dam because they're basically just dumping water out of Truman. Trying not to let that get out of control if we get more heavy spring rains and stuff. So that's kind of going to keep things in check. But fish are spawning. They're going to be all over the bank. You're going to be able to catch just the most amount of short fish you could ever imagine if you want to. And you can poke around and also find some good ones on beds and stuff. So your typical bed fishing, you can throw your Carolina rig and stuff too around those spawn pockets, those areas, throw glide baits and something if you wanted to. But for me, this time of the year, I really like to focus on soft plastics. So I'm primarily would be throwing a shaky head or a Carolina rig or a wacky rig, maybe even an eco rig or something in and around these spawning areas. Behind docks, they really like to spawn. But one thing you do need to keep in mind is that since the water came up so quickly, you're gonna have like a old bank line is what I would call it, underneath the water, a little bit off the bank, and that's where some of those fish could have been set up already, had made beds and things like that, and then the water went up a bunch. So if you're not catching them real shallow underneath or behind docks where you normally do, like under the catwalks and cables and stuff, keep in mind that that water may have been in there somewhat recently and maybe back out a little bit in those areas, and you should be able to catch plenty of fish doing that. So catch some for me since I'm not going to be out there. Let me know down in the comments here too on your Big Bass Bash how you did, if anybody cashed any checks or anything, and then if you're out on the water doing any good. But once the spawn is over, hopefully they keep that current going and those fish just slide right on out to the main lake. And that is, in my opinion, some of the most fun fishing of the year. So I'm really hoping that my schedule and everything lines up with that, and I can get out and enjoy some of that main lake bite with the big jigs, crankbaits, maybe some spoons, just the big fun baits you get out there and just rip on them all day. So we'll move into me fishing the Big Bass Bash here, and thanks for watching, guys. All right, first little fella on the old Carolina rig. Got a couple bites on it so far, but I'm finally making my way to the back of a pocket. Ooh, that was a fish. Yes. Get a decent one, would you? Solid one, but not gonna do me any good. He's just an old conventional keeper. It's a nice healthy keeper. See you later, fella. So the good news is I have fished behind like 4 people now, and I've caught fish behind every single person. They are all fishing very shallow, so that's good. I think everyone's focused on the really shallow bite. And I think maybe in the afternoon it might be there. I think right now it's a little chilly, a little cool. And all I've seen, I think, one very tiny fish cruising around up front. The rest have the rest of my bites and activity has been a little bit deeper water. I've been trying to focus on brush, either on the front sides of these docks in like 12 feet of water, or I've been casting out literally in the guts, sometimes out to 20 feet. And I had a bite earlier out of a brush pile right on a little channel where it drops off about 20 feet, and got a feeling it was a decent fish, but it just got the end of my jig trailer and it basically ripped it off. So I might go back and try that again. But right now we are throwing the trusty Carolina rig with a Zoom baby brush hog. Very elusive one. Looks like it could be about 5 pounds, so just not locked down at all, but does keep returning to the same spot. I caught one way in the back, almost dirt shallow, just the wrong size. I'm way shallow right here now, but it was about 4 feet maybe around the docks all the way back. But these fish will surprise you how shallow they will get, especially when you get a nice sunny afternoon like this. Well, that concludes day one for me. Did not really do well. I caught a fair amount of fish, but could not get anything of size. Like the biggest one was like 2.5 pounds or something. I don't never even weighed it, but Carolina rig was the best bait. I also went between a Zoom brush hog, just flipping it, and a jig, also flipping it around docks. Basically putting the jig and the brush hog in the same spots, fishing in dock shade and stuff. It seems like the bite was a little bit better earlier in the morning as far as the shallower stuff around the spawn pockets and stuff, and then around like 11 o'clock that kind of shut down. So I don't know if that was partially due to the pressure. I'm going to assume that the pressure had something to do with it, just the amount of people fishing, especially in those areas. So a little bit later in the day, I went and picked up Bernie, and we came out and we're Carolina rigging again, kind of on points, steeper points, or almost like channel banks, channel swings, kind of where they flatten out. And we started to catch some more on the Carolina rig. They're a little bit deeper though. These fish were about 20 feet deep, I would say, mostly on the front side of docks and stuff. Caught some down the edges, but most of them were coming on the front, the deeper side of it. But again, no size with that. But I did find two particular spots that had good sized fish. I would say one spot was at least probably like around a 4-pounder. The other one was probably 5.5 maybe. They were kind of locked down to a specific area, maybe like the size of my boat, maybe a little bit bigger. They would just kind of make big circles and they would kind of come back. I was unable to even really get their attention. I messed with them for just a little bit, but they're not locked down enough or to a small enough area, I don't think, to efficiently catch those fish. Good morning, guys. It's day 2 of the Big Bass Bash. It is 6:32, so I'm a little late, but I don't get too big of a rush out here on the Big Bass Bash because there's so many boats. So there's anywhere I probably want to go, there's a boat there, and I'm not going to get out here an hour early, sit on my spot. So I just kind of let everybody get to their spot, and then I get in wherever I don't cut anybody off or feel like I'm taking their spot away from them, if that makes any sense. First things first, I'm going to go look at some fish I found yesterday that were kind of hanging around their little area where they're going to spawn. See if they're still there. If nobody's on them, I might just kind of check on them and see what they look like, see how they're reacting. May use them later in the day, and then from there I'm going to head a little further west. Yesterday I fished like from the 1 to the maybe 3 mile marker, like very thoroughly. So I'm gonna go a little bit further west this time, and maybe even head up into the gravelway. We'll just see how the bite is down there just a little bit more, and see if anything is different, or if I can catch some more quality fish that way. But let's get started and see what we catch today. Hopefully we can catch at least one fish to get us in the weigh-in line. I think it took like a 4 something. I don't know for sure. I didn't look at the weights that hard. Maybe like a 4.5, say, to get paid for most of the time slots. So let's see if we can at least catch a 5-pounder. That's our goal for the day, and hopefully we can make that happen. First one of the day is a little keeper. Just a little 15-incher right on the jig. See you later, fella. It's pretty shallow. I'm in about 15 feet of water. He's probably in about 7. Another one on a shaky head. Transitioned over to the spinning rod for a minute. Throwing a 1/4 ounce head. Get to feel a little bit better. I got sort of fish was yesterday. Big one up here. So I'm gonna try and fan cast around without getting close. Nobody's been over here yet. Maybe she'll be a little less suspicious, more apt to biting, so. You're a sneaky one there. There we go. Look at that. Nothing to it, my friend. Alright, we're tying on a football jig here and a spinnerbait. We are going to work up it's basically a big old cove here that's very, very flat. Very good spawn cove. But we're not going to focus on the shallow stuff. We're going to focus on brush piles and things in that nature up in front of these docks. So we're gonna be looking all out here for brush, a bunch of piles, and just be plucking our way along, throwing spinnerbait and a jig in the pile. Let's see if we can catch some of these big fish. Everybody and their brothers fishing shallow, pounding the crap out of these docks. There's no sense at this point fishing behind some of those people, just doing the same thing, beating it to death over and over. So we're gonna try and maybe hit some of these fish that haven't been pressured quite as much, or get some of these fish that did get pressured and maybe they slid out a little bit deeper. So that's what we're gonna roll with. We got a little bit more watercolor up here in the gravelway than we did down on the lower end, which is also good for the spinnerbait. I don't like throwing them in too clear water, so we'll get started here and we'll see if we can catch some big fish doing this. We certainly can go catch a ton of numbers doing what I was doing around them secondaries and stuff, but so far I have not been finding any size doing that. So see if this helps us anymore. We're gonna be focusing around 20 feet. Keeper. It's real big. See you later, fella. Alright guys, that's a wrap for the big bass bash for me. I did not fish well. Did not have anything of size really. Caught a lot of fish today. Started off kind of doing a little bit the same as yesterday. Just secondaries and stuff, leading into like your spawning areas and stuff, and caught a lot of fish early, but just no size. So I was like, okay, something's gonna change. We gotta do something different. So headed west a little bit, worked in some creeks, kind of checked the same stuff there briefly, but then I started to head up towards the Gravois, fishing the Gravois, mostly focusing on deeper brush piles. Caught some fish, again, no size, and the fish were also more far and few between than they were you know, fishing your secondary points and stuff around here. So then I ran way up into Indian. I think I caught just a couple short fish in there, mostly flipping around boat docks and stuff. I figured, man, all I'm looking for is one fish. So, you know, it's kind of the mindset of you might not catch a whole lot doing that. But again, like I said, you're only looking for one bite. As far as the lake, or this little like pocket I'm sitting in right here, it's pretty shallow, but it's showing like 63-degree water temperature. So most of the fish down here, at least, are not pulled up yet or not spawning. There's a lot of like little males starting to make beds and get on them, but they're super skittish. They don't react to your bait really. I'm sure I've caught some of them if you throw up shallow or whatever, just from a distance on a shaky head or like a wacky rig or something. You know, I know you can catch some of those fish, but it's not like your traditional bed fishing yet. So we get some consistent temperatures. We got the full moon coming in. I would say that you're gonna have a large wave of fish pushing up to spawn here, at least on the lower end, very soon. I don't know what it's like up in the river. I mean, generally they're ahead, you know, so I would say that's probably kind of where they're at up there, but the cold front may have knocked them back just a little bit too. So fishing's going to be getting better here. Obviously we have the immense amount of pressure during the Big Bass Bash, so I was laughing to myself quite a few times today. You just look around how many boats there are, and it's like, oh, just get in line, just join the parade, you know, hop in and you kind of fish a little section and there'll be 2 or 3 other boats come in behind you. I really want to put up like a trail camera or something, some sensors next year. I want to like take data of how many points and stuff, like how many fishermen come through on a day. It's got to be crazy. So that certainly does not help some of these fish. I'd say they get shy and they back up a little bit, and you know, they've just had so many baits thrown at them, but that's part of it. So hopefully I can get in and do some more fishing and enjoy the spawn, but we will see. Getting ready to have another kid, and it could come early, so that could throw a wrench in the plans for that. I can't guarantee the timeline of the next video for me, but we'll have some content coming out for you soon, and hopefully I can capitalize on some of the spawn. And if I don't, maybe if we get some rain, we need some rain, they'll be able to open up the dam, Truman, and here, and run some good current, so post spawn turns into a lot of fun, because we missed that last year, and I missed it a lot. That's one of my favorite times to fish. It's just fun. You can catch so many big fish, and just really you catch a ton of fish. They're ready, they're hungry, they're ready to eat, feed up after they were spawning, so it's a good time. One other thing to note is Nathan and I are working on the Winter Series dates. We're going to try and have those out here in the next couple of weeks, so that way everybody can mark that on their calendar and get their schedules going. But we'll see you on the next video, guys, and thanks for watching, and let me know down in the comments if you caught any fish, caught any big fish, cast a check or anything at the Big Bass Bash, how you were catching them, whatever. Fill in all the detail that you want to, but just curious to see how you guys did. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.